This podcast is a member of the Place to Be Nation family. Visit us at placetobenation.com, the only place to be in your pop culture world.
Welcome to the NBA Team Podcast. I am one of your co-hosts, Andrew Riche. I'm joined by Adam Murray. Adam, you've traveled the world. We know you. That anyone who's followed the show knows that you are a world traveler. Now that the 4 years have been up, we've finally come to the big event. The World Cup draw is Friday morning at the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C. I need to know who is going to be in the group of death. Who is going to win it all? Who is going to win that fabled World Cup?
Oh, it's going to be Cape Verde versus, I think, Hades in it. And it's coming up this week.
It's Friday morning. It was originally supposed to be in Las Vegas, and a certain high-ranking politician had his way, and they moved it to Washington, D.C.
Oh, of course. Yeah. I thought they weren't complete yet. I thought
they're not.
Europe has to do the playoffs, and
they have a couple more to do. Yes, there's about four more spots to go, but they're basically going to have they're 45 of the 48 have been filled. But there's still 3 left, and it's like, well, we're just gonna put them. Whoever the winner of that is, will go there.
Well, the group of death team is obviously it's gonna be rough because the 3 co-hosts are the way it works. If you're hosting it, you're automatically in the best bracket.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna have teams like Colombia and Japan and Iran and like teams like who are borderline A gonna be moved down to the B. So you're gonna have Canada, who's really not that good.
Mexico and United States, the U.S.
The U.S. underachieves.
I call them the New Orleans Saints of soccer. Like, we think we're good. We're not bad most times.
No, we are bad. No,
well, this year, yeah, but I'm talking about in general. Okay,
I want to say, if
Canada is bad, Mexico's great. Everybody
Canada is just sort of, they never really had a program, and they weren't really good till maybe I think last time was in recent times, it's just like basketball.
Give me all the countries. All right, name off the top of your head over the last 4 years every country you visited.
Since COVID?
Correct. Since the last World Cup.
Okay, since the last World Cup was that was 22. Well,
correct.
When COVID, that's the same sort of. When COVID opened up, we went to Iceland. After Iceland,
not in it. I'm going through them.
We did Morocco, who's
they're in it. They're actually really good.
They went to the quarterfinals or semifinals in the last one, which was completely shocking. So it's just like the players era. So if the higher you make it, your federation gets more money. So the Moroccan Soccer Federation, who could just build.
But if you don't win by $1 million, you don't get anything, which is the dumbest thing. That's a whole nother topic about college basketball I don't want to get into.
We did Morocco. We did Denmark.
They are not in it yet, a question mark, but they probably will.
Finland. But okay, prior to, let me just say, okay, here's the places I've been to. Obviously, Canada, Spain. I've been to Argentina. I've been to England, Brazil, Portugal, Netherlands, Morocco, Ecuador, Austria, Norway, Panama, Egypt. I think that's where everything ends.
The best countries in the list that you have not been to are France, Germany, and Italy.
Yeah, France, I have no desire to go to. Germany.
Spain, for those who don't know, is number 1 in the FIFA rankings. And then Argentina, who won the World Cup in 22. They are the second best.
Yeah, but they were old. And who are the European playoff teams?
Yeah.
No, who's in the playoff path? We got Italy, Northern Ireland, Wales, Bosnia.
You can't call it Ireland. Do you have to call it Northern Ireland?
Yes.
You have to. Okay. I really didn't know.
There's Northern Ireland and there's Ireland, and they do not like each other at all. If you could just remember the IRA bombings of the 70s. I was just in Sweden for Thanksgiving.
Sweden. Well, also, we don't have to talk about this yet. We can talk about this in February because I love Olympic hockey. Finland and Sweden are beasts in hockey.
Well,
You
it's
know,
all Canada. So yeah,
right?
I've been to Sweden, been to Turkey, was
Will
supposed to
you
go to
go to a
Romania.
game? Will you fly to a game?
Oh, they're in Boston, but the tickets are so expensive. There's no point of it's
It's all over the place. Like they're in Mexico, they're in Central
but
America,
like
they're
people
everywhere.
bought tickets and then put them on resale for like 10
The
grand immediately.
final is going to be in East Rutherford. It's going to be at MetLife. But yeah, they were originally going to be in Las Vegas for that drawing event, which is going to probably get mega ratings all over the world. But that's where the NBA Cup is. And they actually just finished the group play part. It's weird too because you got to know who's in the knockouts. Then when you know who's in the knockouts, they have to redo the schedule for, to fill in the consolation games to make your 82 games. So,
But to answer your question in a long way back, the way the group of death will be, if you're with one of those if you're playing against Haiti or Curacao or Cape Verde, you got the easy path. But if you have to go through the European playoff winners in group, so technically you could have Canada, Morocco, Norway, and Italy all in one bracket. Like that's just doom for Canada. Or the US can be stuck with Colombia. Panama's not that good.
who are the Lakers and Celtics of soccer?
The it's obvious Brazil is the Lakers, but they've
Even
come
though they've
upon hard
struggled over the
times.
last decade.
Yeah, they come up on hard times. Spain and Argentina are the two. They're always England is like the Cowboys. They were good a long time ago, and everyone says they're going to win, and they always wind up choking. The U.S. is just. I don't want to be
I told you they're the
mean.
Saints. They're the Saints. They are, or the I'm trying to think of another one. Like not the Knicks. That's not. Well, no, the Knicks won a title. The U.S. will never ever win a FIFA World Cup.
The
Let's be
U.S.
real.
is never, they don't put money into it. You see through made the MLS, like they don't have the talent, so they don't have the developmental programs. All the good players go away. So I don't, the meanest thing to say is like they're the Sacramento Kings, where you had they barely make the play in and they're always ousted. They had one good year and then all of a sudden they hire bad coaches.
Mhm.
Their best player for a long time was a middle guy. They rely on a defensive sort of middle ball control or have. Whereas you need shooters. You need a Luca or you need an Anthony Edwards, but instead they're like, you know what we need? We need like a Sam Hauser in there. He's our best guy. And it's just like, whatever. But anywho, that's
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and there's superstars in soccer. There's Mbappe. There's Messi.
soccer is
There's
way bigger than anything in basketball.
Yamal. There's like great players, right?
So
You know.
basically I've been so out of the loop and I just have questions and it's been a lot of the NBA Cup time, which nobody gets. Everyone's just
Well,
like,
if you have
the
questions about the
courts are
FIFA World Cup,
stupid.
I can't.
And
If you have questions about the FIFA World Cup, I can't help you. Okay,
no,
I
the
gave you all the information
NBA
I know.
Emirates Cup. So I'm
Oh
just
yeah,
gonna
this is a basketball podcast. I forgot.
I'm just gonna ask you a few questions of things that may seem like the case to me, and you could be like, there's sort of a fact or fiction, or what's the truth meter on all of this, okay? And we'll just sort of
Yeah,
bounce around that way because I have no clue. So I'm gonna start off with just we had talked about like a couple episodes ago, the Bulls were hot, and then the league sort of caught up with them. Now they're just sinking. Kobe White came back, and they're back to being mediocre. Am I right?
yeah. I don't want to put too much blame on Kobe White. He's a very talented individual offensive player. I think defensively he's actually not bad, but the problem is that
He's not fitting.
he doesn't fit. It takes away from Josh Giddey's like having the openness to take shots, which is when he was really thriving. And his numbers are down in terms of scoring, but his assists, his rebounds are still way up. But I think that is a problem. Vucevic isn't getting as much ISO, which I mean, if you remember to start the season, Vucevic was destroying people, and that's not the case. I don't want to say addition by subtraction because he did not sign a new contract extension in the offseason, but I would not be shocked that Kobe White got moved. It's very, very possible. Also, the Bulls defense was kind of helped a lot by the fact that teams were not making any threes against them to start the season. And now that's gotten back to normal and their defense is starting to fall apart. So I am worried about the Bulls. I do think they have enough juice to like be a playoff team for sure, a play-in team for sure, and especially in the East. But yeah, there's a concern there between that dynamic of Kobe White coming back, Giddey as the distributor, the Sunmu. You don't even have time for Dalen Terry to play anymore. Like, that is a problem. I agree with that. There's something wrong.
Okay, speaking of something wrong, we all have been shocked about how bad and how much the wheels came off the Clippers.
I was gonna
everything.
say this one to you and ask you if you were surprised. You go ahead and say it, and you're probably gonna say the same thing I was thinking, but go ahead and say it.
How much worse can it get? Like, how much further do
I
we have
think
until Harden
my
and
hot take
Kawhi?
to you, and it's not a hot take anymore, is that I think their season is over. They're like 5-15. I think their season is over.
Oh, their
Like,
season
I don't think they
is
can climb
over,
out of
and
this.
to me, it's interesting as the story is really what the story should be. Is you have the Oklahoma City Thunder who are what they're like 17-1 or something, seven or
Mm-hmm. And
yeah,
they own the Clippers pick
but
from
they're 19-1,
the old Paul
and
George deal.
there is
Yeah.
zero talk about the talk is actually a negative. It should be, can this, Thunder team be the greatest of all time? It's just, are they going to ruin the basketball? Like, are they going to kill the NBA because the lottery is going to give them a top
Because
three
their
pick?
GM is too smart. Is that what you're trying to say?
That, and I don't want to get into a quick tangent, but you had Dallas, who should not have gotten the number one pick. You had Atlanta, who should not have gotten the number one pick. You have such putrid teams like, the usual Washington and Charlotte and Brooklyn. And the way the lottery flattening is, they're all getting screwed every year. You had Detroit get screwed, 3 years in a row, getting the fifth pick. And you have teams like Philly, who should not be getting the third pick.
Atlanta got one, and Atlanta that year was not terrible when they got.
They were
Now, it was
10th.
It was Riche. I know it wasn't an amazing.
It was a
pick.
bad draft, but
Yeah,
you have teams in these playoffs and the play-in getting the number one lottery pick, and you have these bad teams who are just getting worse.
yeah.
So everyone, the talk is how bad this is for basketball because they're getting all these picks.
I think we're gonna come to a pretty big cataclysm when we get to this lottery, because I think the Jazz will be in the lottery. I don't want to. They've had some good moments. They've had some bad moments. Lauri Markkanen and Keontae George have looked great, but I think they're going to be in the lottery, and I think they're going to have a lot of ping pong balls.
Oh, they're going to be.
If they don't get the number one pick, and if they don't get the Bansa, now you can say, all right, tanking doesn't work. Tanking doesn't work.
No, but the flattening. But you had Dallas, who was 10th. You had San Antonio get the number 2 pick, who didn't deserve to be there. You have just these teams, playoff caliber teams, these mediocre.
The talent rich getting richer. Yeah.
Yeah. And you have these bad teams just completely and the Clippers, like, Kawhi is already sort of half asking out. Harden has been a good soldier.
Harden has been awesome. I mean, he had this game when you were out against the Hornets. He went for 55. He had like 36 in the first half, just went nuclear. He's had some great games. He's getting into the free throw line. You know what's sad about Kawhi Leonard? He's actually playing, and he's playing well, and it doesn't matter. They're not good enough. Yeah, Chris Paul just announced he's going to retire. So, I mean, and Bradley Beal's done for the season.
John Collins on paper looked like a great signing. He's done nothing. The team is just a complete.
Their youth is not very good in terms of like their bench people, like the Jordan Millers and the Cam Chrissies. Like, they're not good enough.
It's just a mess.
It's a bad situation. I agree. And it's going to get worse because after the All-Star break, a punishment's coming. Now, what kind of punishment for the Kawhi thing? I don't know.
It'll just be a fine. It'll be nothing. And I don't think it's going to be as bad.
But that was going to be my hot take, and it's not so hot, that I think the Clippers season is over. I think the only team in LA worth a shit to watch is the Lakers.
I don't want to say it's over because technically you could still make the play-in category because Dallas has been disaster.
Yeah, Utah has actually got the last spot, I believe, right now. If you actually
Memphis,
looked at the
Memphis,
and they're like 8-12, and
so they're not far. They're not far behind, but I see it as, but it's not a feel-good story. It's just we know, okay, you have 2 years for a reset. Everybody's off the books in 2 years, so you can now rebuild your team. So they're not year 1 of 5 of these people, but I just wonder how much worse can it get for them. I was just completely shocked about that. Um, Another question: the Charlotte Hornets. Why are they still terrible? Con Canoopel
I
looks
think
like
that I, I think LaMelo Ball just has mentally checked out. Like if he's not getting his points, he doesn't care. He'll have games where he goes for like 17, 7, and 6 or something like that. And he tries to be a team player, but it's at the sake of like Miles Bridges going off. Brandon Miller's back from I think he had a hip injury and he's back and he's playing well. Knuble is just an awesome player. I haven't looked at the odds yet for rookie of the year. It's probably close between him and Edgecombe and Cooper
well,
Flag,
Cooper
but
will
I was
probably come in at the end, but
yeah,
Canoopel has to be up top.
Cooper's had some good games lately. He had his career high recently for 35. So he's getting there. Knuble, I think, is the best rookie I've seen this year. He's really good. Edgecombe's been great too, but he's had injuries. But
That's like
Knuble's
you
been awesome.
have people around who seem like I don't know how like why Charlotte is still. They should have, I thought, been better than
Even
their.
Colin Sexton's had good games, but defensively, it's just not working. I think defense is the main problem for Charlotte. They're 26 in efficiency. So like, and also they don't play very fast. So if they go down early, they're not coming back. They're not making
Okay.
a comeback. Unbelievably, they beat the Raptors to end their 9-game winning streak. The Raptors had a winning streak and that was kind of the trend of the last couple of weeks. Teams going on like these like either droughts or like scorching streaks where the Pistons had 13 in a row and they lost to the Celtics, and the Raptors wound up winning 9 in a row. By the end of it, they were second in the East, but they lost to the Hornets unbelievably in overtime.
That brings me to my next point. Derek Queen looking quite good.
Yeah, who looks quite bad? The Pelicans, the team he plays
Everybody,
for.
yeah, the team is
They are, I
terrible,
believe,
and
3-17. They very well might wind up with the worst record. Yes, it doesn't matter for them because the
they
Hawks
don't
win
own
their
their pick.
pick.
And I
But yeah,
mean,
they're very, very bad. I think Zion's getting traded. I think
the
Zion is mentally checked
story the
out.
story of Derek Queen as our pick, that's not terrible. If they had said, let's say they're eighth or ninth in the draft,
No,
and
no.
Derek Queen was your guy, it's just if the ping pong balls fall the wrong way, then it's a bit. But if they slide down to eighth, hey, we traded for Derek Queen. Okay, he's good. I had said he was
Mhm.
good. We both said he was going to be good, and he has shown every bit. As far as Zion getting traded, I don't know what his value even is.
It depends on how high or low like the demand is. Like it can I've noticed with Zion lately, and I think it might be because they just want to try out Queen more in the lineup. And Queen's a guy who can get a lot of rebounds, he can get a lot of assists. And that's sort of a role that Zion takes on at times. And so because Queen's doing it now, I noticed that Zion's not rebounding anymore. He's just basically leaking out on rebounds. He's like, okay, I'm just going to try to get out in the open for easy layups and dunks and stuff like that. And guys that are having to get rebounds are guys like Sadiq Bey, who's their small forward,
Who
and
is a good
Queen,
comeback
and
story?
Trey
Who was
Murphy the
out
third.
with an Achilles
Yeah, he
last
tore his
year.
Achilles. He signed with the Wizards, and I don't think he played a minute.
No, because
Like
he was
he
out
had
for the
torn his
year. They
Achilles in
just
the play-in for the Hawks. So yeah, it was weird. But like I just see, Adam, sometimes on the box where you could just see, all right, this guy's just not giving as much as he used to. Like he's there, he's playing. It's just not like his effectiveness is not there. And I can see that with Zion Williamson in New Orleans, where it's just like I'm seeing the beginning of the end, where it's like, okay, if he really wants to get traded for high demand, he has to ramp up his performance level, or every team is going to lowball the Pelicans at the deadline, and the Pelicans are just going to say, "Nah, we'll just let him stay here and see in the summer." Someone gets desperate and wants to trade him, but I got a feeling that his days are numbered in New Orleans, and I think Queen being good is a part of it, even though they are one of the worst teams in the league.
okay. That brings me to my next question. Worst teams in the league. You had and injuries. We had two teams who had devastating injuries to their star player. The Celtics have been, by some accounts, overachieving. My account, they're terrible because I'm, you know, too thick into the woods to
Mm-hmm.
yeah to see it. And then you have the Indiana Pacers who are just god awful. And I don't think it's a tanking god awful. I just think
They have had the worst luck ever. Their infirmary report is so bad. Like, it's almost hilarious looking at their injury report. Like, Obi Toppin is out. Andrew Nemhart can't stay healthy, who was going to be the guard that took the place of Tyrese Halliburton. Ben Mather was out for a while. He's back. Aaron Nesmith has a knee injury. Even their rookie Cam Jones has been not playing at all because he has a back injury. They get good play out of Quentin Jackson. He goes out with a hamstring tear. It's like they just can't get a break. That I think has been one of the biggest issues. They've had some bright spots like Jeracy Walker and Jay Huff inside have actually played well. Matherin, it's going to be tough when he gets to restricted free agency because he's going to demand a lot, in the open market, even though it's restricted free agency, because he's been scoring like the Dickens. For the Celtics, I feel like Missoula has just done a good job of playing. I hate to say gimmick basketball, but they play a style where they have to hustle. They take a lot of threes and they play a lot of zone because they don't have the size to match with people. But they are playing well. Keita has been awesome for them inside. Derek White has been good. And Simons has been good. So they haven't played poorly at all. I think Jaylen Brown is an all-star this year. I think he's had a very good year.
well, yeah, he's always been good. It was just he was always the number 2
He
option.
has, but I feel like he's taken that step. Like some people are like, oh, I don't know, Jaylen Brown could take the step up. He did. He's been really, really good. He just needs to embrace being bald. And then there's one you missed because it's easy to miss, is that Fred VanVleet's injury to the Rockets. I think their offense is number 1 in the league. And it's because they big boy everybody. They play everybody outside of Reed Shepherd. Everybody that plays significant minutes is 6'7" or taller. But
and they don't shoot threes. They all just do this little mid.
And I understand
game
VanVleet's
around
not the most. And I understand VanVleet's not the most important player on the team. I get that, but that was a big blow. That was a big blow to their team.
It was, and it's very confusing. I mean, even before I had left, watching Houston and just watching the pace and then watching this sort of old school 80s, 90s throwback style that is complete contrary to just run and shoot threes and go by,
Well, because their bigs are also ball handlers. Eason, Şengün, even Durant, they can all put it on the floor and go. So that's what makes him a little. And Jabari Smith Jr. to a point. I think he's more of a shooter still, but yeah, that's been a really interesting team in the West. They're still hovering up top. The Warriors struggled. They beat the Pelicans. They lose 5 in a row, where Jimmy Butler is bitching and moaning the whole time, and then they beat the Pelicans again. So, I don't know what's wrong with them. I think everybody is just kind of waiting to see where Kuminga winds up because they think he's going to get traded.
Well, they know he's going to get traded, and that
he's
was
in
the
the
whole
doghouse,
point.
Basically. Let me ask you this: Do you think Jimmy Butler is part of the problem wherever he goes?
Well, of course,
I'm just putting it out there.
He's very vocal, and then you had Kuminga saying, I'm leaning on Jimmy to give me some advice.
He talks about how he lost his joy in basketball. The Miami Heat without him look pretty joyful right now.
Well, Miami, who would have thought? And this is the same way at the Clippers,
running that no screen offense where they just go fast, that kind of thing.
They completely changed their offensive style overnight, which was just night and day. It was just like Sting comes out as NWO Sting, and it's just like, wait a minute, what is this? This is what you haven't been. I don't know this, and watching the Heat are completely, and with Tyler Hero out too,
he just came back. He just came back.
You have Adebayo, who will probably be the defensive player of the year because, which we'll get to my next question in a second. But just the Heat completely reinvent, and I didn't even know that was. I don't think anybody saw that coming.
Yeah, it's also a strength in numbers situation. It's not exactly like this because the styles are so different, but it's like the Pistons when they won their title in 2004, where they just beat you because they just had a lot of guys they could throw at you. And the Miami Heat do that too because they keep everybody in the fold. Jaime Jaquez plays a lot. He's almost like a point guard. And Bam Adebayo is involved in the offense. Even Simone Fontecchio sometimes gets involved in the offense. Norman Powell If you want whatever shot you want to take, if you're open, take the shot, because that's the whole point of the no screen offense is like, hey, if the defense is going to go strong side here, guess what? You're open on this side and you take the shot. So it's actually been working for them. I just want to ask you this. I know, I think you know the answer, but I just want to ask anyway. What do you define for star players and teams as like joy? Like when they say, "Oh yeah, I need to find my joy." What do you think that means? I'm just asking you.
I don't
I need my
know.
numbers. I need my numbers.
It depends because you have teams who are winning, but I don't. You
But is
can't
that
tell
what they
me.
mean by I can't find my joy? Is that what they mean?
I think it winning helps and cures everything. My
Knocked out.
next question
Uh-huh.
in this the 65 is coming up on everybody. We're
Yep.
going to have a lot of people being eligible for awards and a whole rash of what appears to be calf strains along the league, like it's the flu.
They're calling it soft tissue injuries. I'm like, I think what it honestly, Adam, I've seen I saw this interesting article from Gary Vitti, who is like a very renowned trainer for the Lakers, talking about what's causing it. It's part of it is AAU, part of it is trying to create more explosive plays off of your pivot foot and such and such. I really believe, and this is just my opinion, it just comes down to the fact that there's just more possessions. And then when there's more possessions, there's more potential to get hurt. Yeah, it's been a bit of an epidemic of like a lot of people saying, "Oh man, I got an ouchie here. I got tightness in my hamstring that might lead to some other more devastating injury." I think it's just the fact that it's December and people just don't want to run out their superstar and get him hurt before the new year.
It's funny
They're just waiting for the playoffs.
how our cold takes of everyone wants to play because they don't want to get injured. They want to get all these bonuses and everything. And then all of a sudden, these soft tissue injuries. And then, well,
But that's got to be management, Adam. Like that's got to be management saying, "Hey, guy, I know that you could probably dominate and average 30 a game for 82 games, but we don't need you to do that right now." You
but
know,
does the NBA needs to like, I don't want to say look into it. The NBA has to be like something's up. We can't be putting teams without all our star players because they're all out on national
yeah.
TV every
Well,
week.
I will say this: I have noticed some weird situations where, and I'm not going to try to accuse the new network providers of having like side deals with these superstars, but I've seen situations like Anthony Davis. He doesn't play for a week, then he plays in LA against the Lakers. Obviously, there was personal issues that like there's a reason why he wanted to do that one. Giannis has had like a calf issue. Well, he plays on Amazon. So I wonder if there's this. I wonder, like, kind of leaning into what you're saying, is that there is a certain point where it's like, hey, superstar X, it's okay for you to take these games off, but once we do those ESPN games and the NBC games, we need you to play. I wonder if there is a sort of bit of pressure there from the league. There has to
All
be.
right. All right.
Like, do you think it's getting a little too out of hand with the injuries?
I just see everybody getting injured, and once nobody starts getting these awards, and then you're having people who shouldn't be getting the awards getting these awards and all NBA awards because of it. I don't know. Um, I was going to ask a Giannis question and how long until Milwaukee eventually moves on from him because obviously this team is not sustainable with him. And Milwaukee has done everything.
That's what I was gonna say. Well, the thing I was gonna say is that when Giannis is healthy, they're really good.
They are, but they've done everything for him. But I think we're slowly getting into a Minnesota and Garnett situation where we know this can't go for another 5 years.
Yeah, long term, yeah, it's a problem. It obviously is a problem, especially at his age, because I think he's either in his late 20s or early 30s. Like there is a point for Giannis where you got to start slowing it down a little bit. The other things I've noticed, Jalen Johnson, I think, has overtaken Trae Young as the best player on his team in Atlanta. I'll say that. I think I think he was the Eastern Conference Player of the Week. He had a point where he was averaging a triple double for about a week or so. I've been banging this Bell for a while, but I think it might be time to move on from Trae Young. I think in the time they need to just go ahead and shop around. Do you think I'm crazy?
Giannis will be 31 next week. I've
Okay.
been saying we've been talking about the Trey thing for a while. I think they should move on from him. I also think Memphis should move on from Ja.
I'm
I
also
think
concerned about Donovan Mitchell. He's starting to do the thing again he did in Utah, where it's like, all right, the team ball thing worked for a while, but now I got to get mine. And he starts to push a little too hard. And like we had talked about in the previous segment, it doesn't lead to winning basketball. And I don't know what the problem is. Evan Mobley's had great numbers. Darius Garland's had injuries, so he's been in and out the lineup. But Mitchell is one of the greatest regular season. He reminds me of Dominique Wilkins. He's one of the greatest regular season players I've ever seen. But I just worry, is his style of play conducive to winning basketball in the playoffs? That's always been my concern.
that's what we've said because they were all in it. If they don't, Garland
when he
and
goes
Mitchell have
off,
to be split up.
When he goes off, he's spectacular. But it doesn't always lead to winning games. And this is a situation for Cleveland, like we talked about ad nauseum. They got to win. It's time to win. And they're dropping games. They're 12-7.
But could it be a sort of like we're in the playoff mentality? Let's have Toronto and
that's possible. Let Detroit Toronto front run. Yeah.
Go right ahead, and then we don't care. We know we're going to be the playoffs. We're built for the same thing. Like
the
New
Knicks
York.
are kind of in that scenario too, where they're just like, hey, if we're not feeling it today, or Cat's not feeling it today, then we'll just call it off. Especially with how much their starters play. You want to get more blow for your reserves, like Miles McBride and guys like that. So that makes sense. The Sixers are struggling. The Magic, weirdly, are playing well without Paolo. I wonder if Jamal Mosley's figured something out, and this is going to be sort of a young superstar moment where Paolo has to realize, hey, maybe they can win without me. I need to start playing more team ball. I don't know. I don't want to look too deeply into it, but the Magic actually wound up in the knockout round of the NBA Cup in group play, so they're actually playing well without him. Franz has been awesome. Anthony Black is playing well. So they're actually not. They're not playing too poorly. They've kind of kicked out of it.
Is there anything I missed? Anything I didn't get to?
The Suns are coming slowly back to earth, but Dylan Brooks might be the MIP. I might be crazy, but Dylan Brooks has been playing really well.
Coming back to earth, as in they're rebounding from the cratered basement they were in?
Well, no. They were playing really, really well for about a week and a half. Now they're starting to drop some games, but also they played the Thunder, they played the Rockets. Like they're playing teams that can kick anyone's ass. So,
yeah, but everyone thought they'd be down with Utah and Sacramento.
Oh yeah, I thought they were going to be bad. I thought they were going to be terrible, and I was dead wrong. I've now had to recalibrate of like, okay, this is a playoff team. Are they? How are they playing now? They're really good. Mark Williams. He's making himself a lot of money in the offseason. I'll just put it that way. And Jalen Green, that's another situation where I don't even know if he fits on the team. It's to a point where I don't injured. Even know. Yeah, he's had a hamstring injury, but he played and then he went right back out with a hamstring injury.
Okay.
They got Grayson Allen. It's like, okay, they got Allen to be the gunner at the 3-point spot, and they got Jordan Goodwin as the backup point guard. So it's like, okay, this works. Why do we need you to try to nudge Jalen Green into this lineup? It's just that'll be an interesting situation once we get there. But yeah, the Suns are kind of slowly kind of going back to like, oh wow, they're on fire, to just okay. Blazers too, just kind of average. The basement dwelling, we don't have to go too far with it, but
no, we don't need to get into that at all.
Nets, Wizards, Pels is the competition with the new dark horse of the fossilized Los Angeles Clippers just being terrible. And oh, by the way, LeBron James is now playing games. I don't know his numbers off the top of my head, and because he's only played I think 5 games, but if I had to guess, he's probably averaging about 15, 7 and 7. He almost missed his 10-point streak, his double-digit scoring streak. He almost missed it against the Dallas Mavericks. While Austin Reeves and Luka Doncic each scored like 36. Okay. That's the new LA offense. It's the Luka and Austin's show. Like that's their offense. I just wonder if LeBron can play ball within it and not sabotage it. I mean, do you still have concerns about that?
No, it's too early to tell for that. We've gone through. He's back. ESPN's probably rejoicing because now they can focus on that again all day long. One quick last final question before we wrap up here. Lane Kiffin to LSU. Any thoughts on that?
I'm very happy. For the first time in my life, I feel bad for Ole Miss because that's a bad situation. I wonder. Yeah, this might age like poor milk. Do you remember when
that's
Michigan,
the way all our episodes have been this season so far?
Do you remember when Michigan won the national title with Steve Fisher?
No.
He was the interim coach because Bill Frieder had already decided to leave for Arizona State, but they were in the tournament. Their best player was Glenn Rice. And Bo Schembechler was the AD. He's like, well, no, I want a guy who wants to stay here to coach my team in the tournament. So he basically fired Bill Frieder before he could leave for another job. And Steve Fisher was the interim coach. He brings him up. They win the national title. Do you think this can really happen? Because I thought Lane might actually coach out the playoff, but I don't think it's going to happen.
I don't think they're going to let him.
I think there's a lot of ill feelings here, and I think Ole Miss's brass is just going to say, fuck this guy. We are not going to do it. The closest we ever saw this in the NBA was twice. It was Phil Jackson for The Last Dance. Everyone knew he wasn't coming back. The other one was Larry Brown because everybody knew he was going to the Knicks. And he was basically coaching out his season with the Pistons, but the Pistons were so good that I don't think it mattered.
Okay.
But do you have any thoughts? I think they're going to be awesome. I think LSU will be an awesome team with Lane Kiffin.
He was the name I remember I texted you. I go, who are they going to go for? And I was going to go for him or the Tulane coach. You're like, no, Lane's.
Can you believe that Tulane might be the best team in the state of Louisiana? Can you believe that?
Well, not anymore because he took the job at Florida.
No, but he's going to coach it out. This is different. Tulane's different. Tulane's like, no, we want to win.
They'll let him coach it out.
There's no ill will here. He can coach all. You can coach all the way to the end.
All right. Just a quick note. You can search for us, the NBA team, on all your podcast feeds now by itself.
We're everywhere.
We're everywhere. So just search for it.
Right.
As far as the archives, always check out the Place to Be Nation for that.
Are you looking forward to the knockout rounds coming
No.
up in the next week? It's kind of fun,
I don't.
I think it's Orlando, Miami, and New York, Toronto. The other side is San Antonio, LA Lakers, and Phoenix.
I still haven't
Oklahoma
figured
City.
it out. I still don't know how it affects the regular season scheduling and how things have to be moved around to accommodate these new matchups. But all I know is they're ugly courts. Nobody seems to be a fan of them. You have the players like the Lakers saying, "Yeah, we can't play on this because it's trash."
I just want to see if Oklahoma City is going to lose. That's all I want to see. They lost in the final of the Cup last year. I just want to see if they're going to lose a game. They've only lost one game.
Yeah,
But that was Thiago Splitter who'd beat him.
So for Andrew Riche, I'm Adam Murray. Have a good one.
Take care.